Hey everyone, welcome to Play USA. My name's Nicole, here to answer all of your online gambling questions. In today's Tuesday Q&A, we are going to be answering how do I know if I'm betting with an offshore sportsbook. But before we dive into today's topic, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, give us a thumbs up, and ring the bell so you know every time we post a new video. Now, we've done a few videos in the past that talk about why you should bet with a regulated online sportsbook versus an offshore one. And the reasons are endless, but are not limited to the protection of your privacy, personal information, and your money. But a lot of times we've seen or saw questions online about people just confused whether or not they're using an online regulated book or an offshore one. So this video is really about giving you a few key things that you can look for when you're betting online to know whether or not you are betting offshore or with a regulated online sportsbook. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing you want to look for is the stamp of approval from the regulatory body in the state with which you are betting. So each state employs a regulatory body to not only audit sportsbooks and make sure they're following the rules, but also to act on your behalf if you have a problem with that sportsbook. And that is a protection that you just don't get when you bet offshore. So for example, in New Jersey, you have the DGE or the Department of Gaming Enforcement. Nevada has the GCB, Tennessee has the TEL, and so on and so forth. So the first thing to do is look for what the regulatory body is in your state and then look for their stamp of approval on that app. So for example, if we take it over to FanDuel in New Jersey and we scroll to the bottom of the page, we'll see here that we can clearly see that NJDGE has given their stamp of approval, which means this book is regulated in the state. If you're not able to see that exact logo, that means you are likely betting with an offshore sportsbook. The second thing that you want to look for is the deposit and withdrawal methods. Now, if you see that cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is used to deposit and withdraw on the sportsbook that you're using, that is a big red flag that is an offshore sportsbook. Cryptocurrency is not allowed in the regulated US market, so you will not see that on legal online sportsbooks. Another big indicator is if that sportsbook allows you to transfer money to another account. So for example, if I'm playing on a sportsbook and it allows me to transfer money from my bankroll into my friend's bankroll or their account, that is not allowed in the regulated US market. And the third thing that you want to look for is a weird URL. So if the sportsbook has .ag or .lv on the end of its URL, that's the country of origin where it's operating out of. So you're not going to see books like BetMGM or PointsBet or FanDuel have those weird URLs. So that's a good indicator that you're betting offshore. And again, this confusion about regulated online sportsbooks and offshore sportsbooks is pretty prevalent in the US. Just a few years ago, the AGA surveyed bettors and over 70% felt that they should only be betting with a regulated online sportsbook. However, a good majority of those surveyed had either placed a bet with an offshore book in the past or were currently using an offshore sportsbook and cited that it was just confusing to tell the difference. And we know that offshore betting is still very prevalent in the US. But from a responsible gambling standpoint and your personal protection, we are always going to advocate for the use of regulated online sportsbooks. That about wraps it up in today's video. If you have any questions you would like me to answer in the future, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see you next week.